Hello. Today's reading is about what goes through someone's mind when they see you, hear from you, hear about you, whatever it is. Feel free to bring someone specific to your mind if you would like to. And I am going to show you each of your options now. For group 1, we have blue aragonite. And we are using the Soul Cats Tarot. For group 2, we have pink aragonite. And we are using the Everyday Witch Tarot. For group 3, we have Smithsonite, and we are using the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. Okay, feel free to watch more than one of these if you have more than one connection on your mind, or if one doesn't feel quite right, try another. And meet me in your reading when you're ready. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Blue Aragonite and the Soul Cats Tarot. Welcome to your reading today. So we are looking at what goes through someone's mind when they see you, whether that's in person or online, or when they hear about you or when they hear from you, etc. We are going to start with an energy check today, so it should be clear at a certain point if this sounds like the person on your mind or someone else you know. And if it is not someone you are wanting to hear about, even if you do know them, or if it's someone you don't know, just try another group, okay? Don't force yourself to listen to the whole thing if it doesn't resonate. So, like I said, we're going to start with an energy check. We're going to look at how you're currently perceiving this person and the dynamic between you. And then we'll look at what runs through their mind, like kind of initially when you come up, and more generally, more regularly, and what else they may want to happen or what their intentions are. So I shuffled this deck already right before I started. So I'm going to get into it. So how are you currently perceiving this person and the dynamic between you? Okay, first card out of the deck fell on the floor, and it is the Devil. We have the Knight of Swords as well as the Three of Wands. And we've got the Nine of Swords. All right, we're going to start with these four. Well, for some reason in my mind, I'm thinking this beautiful light blue aragonite with its happy color. This was going to be a different kind of vibe for this first reading. But we start with the Devil and the Nine of Swords. And not that any card has to be bad, but I would say right off the bat, these energies and these cards are speaking to something that is a little bit heavier. So we could say that you're perceiving this person as the devil in some way. It might not be so dramatic as that. You could be perceiving them more as the Knight of Swords. And so let me get into that, especially for those of you that don't have like a lot of tarot knowledge. So I tend to see the Knight of Swords as very impulsive. This could even be seen as someone who is inconsistent because they might be really excited about someone one day and just off to the next thing the next day. This can be a type of person. And again, the Knight of Swords is not always this way. But with these other energies, this is what seems to be the case. This could be hot and cold, someone that love bombs, someone that has like the right words for things, but their actions don't necessarily match the things they say, or they may seem to mean something in the moment, but the next day or the next moment, their feelings have already changed. This could be someone that kind of cycles through people quickly. They don't have to be, but that could be the case for some people here. I would say overall, this could be your reading if either the person you were thinking of or this reminds you of someone else and you're curious to know more. This is heavier energy, more difficult energy. And I would say that, I feel like this has been coming through in more readings recently where this is somebody who you've got some difficult history with. And whether it is a very present energy for you or whether this is a little bit more in the past, this at some point, whether that is now or previously, has caused a great deal of anxiety, anguish, worry, sleepless nights, insomnia, or feeling kind of very confused and wanting to maybe be hopeful, but feeling kind of like there's no hope left. So, let me get into more of the details, but I think at this point you probably know whether or not this is a group for you. You can always check out another group if you have another connection on your mind. And this certainly does not have to be romantic. Oftentimes romantic messages come through in tarot readings, but this can relate to someone else in your life that it was not romantic with, whether that's friendship or family. But I would say that this is someone who you probably are or were quite close to because of the amount of distress and because of the heaviness of the energy. It certainly is possible that for some of you, this is like a really stressful person that you work with, or a really stressful person at your school, or something like someone you're not close to, but is like toxic to the extreme. That's possible too. But, it really seems like you feel really caught up in something with this person, or you did. It's hard for me to decide if I should use present or past tense because I feel like it's different for some of you. So if I'm speaking in present tense and it's a past tense thing for you, just know that I'm including both of these energies. Okay. So, it feels like there's a lot of darkness here, and that you may have held hope for something with this person at some point, and that it's diminished or it's been diminishing, and it's hard to kind of hold out hope for someone that's proved again and again and again and again that they are not capable of having like a healthy, consistent relationship or connection with you, or maybe with anyone. And sometimes with these energies, it can look like they have consistency with other people, but when you look really close, it's really not healthy either. I think sometimes people with these energies have a tendency to attract like lovely people and, people who are very understanding and compassionate and empathetic and forgiving. And so sometimes we see that with people like this. And so it can seem like, that you're the only one dealing with difficulties with them. And that doesn't have to be the case. I mean, some of these energies just wreck things with everybody in their life. And I'm not saying that this is a bad person, but I would say that the way that this person operates and the way that they seem to have treated you, or the way that maybe the ways that they act, or the choices that they make have affected you. So something about this person, it has definitely put a dark cloud around you, and you may be on the other side of that, especially with this Three of Wands. I think some of you really are. But either, whether or not it's past energy or present, I think you definitely had a really difficult time. Like, I think it definitely affected your sleep and your physical health at times. I think that you maybe overanalyzed, overthought about this. I think that this person maybe was so on your mind that you almost felt like it was obsessive, like you couldn't stop ruminating, you couldn't stop trying to figure it out. Like, there's so much mental energy here. And even in the Three of Wands, there's this kind of like waiting, trying to figure out, trying to solve something. And yet, someone seemed to prove again and again and again that they could not be trusted, that they were not honest, that they were not consistent or safe. This is not a connection that you could rely on, depend on, settle into. And I would say it's not a healthy one, even though there might be potential for that. We see this potential in the Three of Wands, but it's like maybe they were very present when they were present, but were they always present? Like, this is somebody who seems to have like either flitted in and out of your life, or their attention was inconsistent, or their intentions were inconsistent. Like, maybe they were really sweet and kind one day, and then the next day you just couldn't even get a hold of them, and then they had a really weird story about it. Like, I definitely feel like the person that you're dealing with, this group, it definitely dealt with someone that I would say is not fully honest, not transparent, and I would not call them trustworthy. Again, they may not be bad. They may not have done like super harmful, hurtful, terrible things. Maybe they did, but I will say that I really don't think that they are mentally well or emotionally well. And that certainly has an effect on you in some way, especially if you were close to them or are close to them. It makes sense why you would be so deeply affected, especially if you are an empathetic individual and you tend to take on the feelings or the energies of someone else. I think for some of you, you really tried to help this person. You may have really tried to get them to see the error of their ways, or to see the light, or to be honest, or maybe you gave them many chances. It feels like there's so many chances, and then you're let down again and again and again. I think that perhaps this person truly does love you. And whether or not you love in the same ways, maybe some of you have a more expansive and open heart, and maybe this person has a much more limited capacity for love. But even if they are very loving, genuinely, there seems to be something going on with them that prevents them from being healthy, showing up in a healthy way, showing up in a consistent, stable, and safe way. Sometimes with the devil, we see addiction. You can be addicted to anything, but this can be, kind of classic addictions that we see, like alcohol, substances, gambling, relationship or sex addiction, but it can be other things too. Like maybe this person couldn't step away from the TV or video games. I don't know what it is, but I do think many people here were dealing with someone with some kind of either dependency or addiction issue or a mental health issue. And whatever it is, it's impacted you and probably other people negatively. And this isn't about saying ew, this person's awful because they are addicted to something or they have a mental health issue. No, they're living life like everyone, and they're probably running from something. And I think it really feels like this person has pretty deep wounds. So I'd imagine that they go pretty far back, and that I would say that you've probably spent a good amount of your mental energy trying to understand this person, why they do the things they do, how they think, how they move. And maybe you've been very hurt or you've been very angry, but I think that you've spent a good deal of time trying to understand and really put yourself in this person's shoes. And I actually wonder if some of you, in the midst of doing it, that had this person tell you that you're not putting yourself in their shoes, accusing you of not being compassionate or empathetic, when in fact that's all you've maybe have been, and that this person perhaps has not been empathetic to you. I would say that we all have struggles. Some people have worse struggles. Just objectively, that's the case. And yet, if you are in connection with other people, they're often, I mean, not everyone wants an equal relationship, I guess, but most of the time I would say there needs to be some kind of equality, some kind of reciprocity, unless you're like a parent of a child, in which case that's a totally different dynamic. But even if this person's life path and life struggles have been way worse than yours, I'm not saying that they are, but even if they are, that doesn't give this person the right to be awful toward you. Like, it doesn't excuse their behavior. If this is an adult, this person has the capacity and the tools to do things to change their life. And yes, some people have more tools than other people. Like, I get it. But I also feel like for some reason I keep trying to I find myself coming up with excuses, and it makes me think that some of you have been doing that, where you've been coming up with reasons why, excuses for their behavior, forgiving them, not bringing up issues because you understand where they're coming from. And whether or not that's true for you, I think that there's something that this person has done, has been doing, has repeatedly done. I keep getting repetition with this person that has been wounding to you. So, I just feel like they're so there's something so thorny about them. I see a rose with thorns on it, and it's so beautiful and it smells so good, but you go to grab it and you're bleeding in multiple areas. There may be something so beautiful, or there was something so beautiful about this connection, or it felt that way, or it seemed that way. And yet the closer you got, the more you got hurt. Perhaps this person genuinely meant well. Perhaps they did not. But I will say that regardless of what their intentions were, I get dishonesty from this person. I get that they're hiding things. And again, that could be that they are hiding some type of addiction, or maybe you're aware of it. I knew someone who was quote unquote sober, and they would take on sponsees and in their 12-step program, and they were always kind of on their sober high horse, but the whole time they weren't drinking alcohol, but they were addicted to another drug and hiding it. And as far as I know, this person is still doing that, and they have all of these people around them thinking that they're sober, and they are not. And so it could be something like that here too, where they could be acting as if they are healed, wise, sober, something that isn't actually the case, and there's something hidden. Maybe you discovered that. This was really just meant to serve as an energy check, so I don't want to keep talking and talking and talking, but I think for some of you, it's just maybe it's helpful to hear these things because it's not all in your head. Because sometimes I think you've wondered, is it all in your head? I also feel that this person maybe not only affected you mentally, their actions causing anxiety or emotional difficulties or not being able to sleep, But I think that also this person may have been manipulative, again, whether they meant to or not. Anyway, I don't need to keep going on about this because I think that you probably understand who this is and whether or not this is your group, and whether you are holding out hope or not. And some of you may be waiting for communication. Maybe you've recently had a fight and you're waiting to resolve it. Or maybe you haven't talked to this person in a while and you're wondering if they're going to reach out, or you reached out and you're waiting for a response. Something like that could be going on. But overall, this is someone that I would say they're really probably not a light in your life, even if they were at one point. So let's look at what they think when they see you or hear about you or hear from you. What's their kind of initial reaction or their initial thoughts? we have the World and the Sun. The Page of Cups. So this person has more positive feelings about you, I would say. And then we have the Fool. Okay. I would say this person definitely has some sweeter feelings about you. Again, whether this is romantic or not, they do still have love for you, whatever that love looks like for them. And I guess they keep kind of like saying that, their specific kind of love. Because in my experience, some people are closer to loving in a true way than other people. I think perhaps most of us have some limitations. And, unconditional love is not always accessible to us, but some people are more loving than other people. And I think that even the people that are not still love in their own way, although I do think there are some people that exist that do not love at all. I don't think that's the case with this person. I think that whatever connection you have or did have, there is a strength to it. There was something to it. It wasn't all bad. And I think that's why it maybe tore you up so much, or it has, because it wouldn't have affected you to this level if you didn't care about this person. And I genuinely think this person also cared about and cares about you in some way, even if, again, it's different from the way that you do. So, like kind of their initial reaction or what they think when they see you or hear from you or hear about you is like, there is a little bit of a sense of joy. I think that maybe, even though I said like they're not a light in your life, I wonder if you are a light in their life. And maybe they've even said that to you. And if they did say it, it wasn't bullshit. I think that you're actually quite meaningful to this person. Not only do we have 3 major arcana, which brings more major energies forward, and then we have this page, but the World, the Sun, like these are huge energies. So I think that regardless of whether this person is currently in your life or not, they do think highly of you. I think that they think that they see you as important to them in some way, maybe important to other people. We do have the World here, which sometimes like speaks to the world or like a greater community or something like that. So if you have they may think that like you're not only important to them, but you're important to other people, whether that is your friends and your family or a bigger, greater community of people. So yeah, they see you as like important. And I think that they may be dwelling a little bit on like happy memories or happy moments, or the way that you make them feel or that you did once make them feel. They may be, with the Page of Cups. I was about to say daydreamy, and we've got the daydreamer here. Well, the Knight of Cups is even more so, I would say, but the Cups suit is quite daydreamy, and the Page can be too. And the Page of Cups often makes me think of Pisces, and I think of Pisces as like the most daydreamy sign. And so there's a feeling here, especially with these middle 2 cards, and I don't know, all these cards, I guess, where it does feel like this person daydreams. So whether they are being nostalgic, sentimental, thinking of better times, or they are imagining scenarios with you, like if you're not in one another's lives currently, they may imagine, coming back together. They may imagine what that would look like or feel like. They may imagine what it's like if you shine your light on them again. And they are also very aware of the fact that that's not reality. They do seem to be aware of the fact that, like, if you're not talking to them, you may not want to talk to them again. Like, it's this energy with the Fool where sometimes the Fool feels like a fucking fool. Like, sometimes they just feel like a fool. And in some ways, you could say that this person might feel like a fool for you. Maybe like even if time has passed, they still can't really get over this. If you're currently kind of like in a argument or the energy is just kind of off, they may feel like they said something stupid. They may feel scared to lose you. But I have to say again, this obviously isn't going to be the case for every single person here, but a lot of you, I do think you're dealing with someone who does have addiction issues. And, maybe some of you watching this also do. There is absolutely no judgment here. We're all just trying to get through life. But I do get a strong feeling with this person that they like to escape, that they like to distract. And that could be said for most people. We all sometimes escape or distract. Sometimes we want to get out of our heads. Sometimes we want to relax. But there's such a strong feeling here where this person just doesn't really live in like reality a lot of the time. Like instead of like living in the world, they're kind of separate from the world. It's like, most of the time in the Fool card, we see someone about to take a risk, about to start something new, about to take a leap. This person is not. They're kind of just like feeling the broom on their skin, like in this like picture. And we see roses again. There's something thorny with this person, something so like beautiful and something so special, and then something so painful. But it's like this person for some reason can't seem to escape something that's happening in their life, some way that they're feeling something that is happening, or some way that they're living. I feel like this person, instead of changing or facing themselves or like genuinely apologizing for something or taking true accountability, something that would make it worth it and safe to be around this person, or even see them make any kind of like progress as a person, instead of doing those things, they're continuing to do the same things that they have done. That's not to say that this person maybe hasn't learned lessons in life, that maybe they haven't gained wisdom, that they haven't healed some things. Maybe they have, but it seems like they are stuck. Like either they've been stuck for a long time or they are stuck now. If you stopped talking to this person at a certain point, I would say that they're still stuck in the energy of that time. Even if their life circumstances have changed, even if they have different people in their life, something here. And I feel like there was another reading recently that I did like this. So, I don't know, someone keeps coming through really strong, but yeah, even like, if we talk about like substances, if we talk about like psychedelics, for example, those aren't like physically addictive, but I have known people who use them to a degree where it is still becomes an addiction. Like I've met people who like, they feel like they're so spiritually awake and so like enlightened and like they're so free. But the thing is that they're taking like psychedelics all the time, or like these kinds of things. And so they're not actually like incorporating, maybe they're learning or getting real insights, but they're not incorporating them into their life. And so it's another way for them to like escape. And so there could be something going on for this person too, where it's maybe not like a dependence on something, and yet they're using something in a way, an addictive way to escape. And again, like, I don't know why I keep feeling like I need to make like weird excuses for this person. So again, I'm like, are some of you doing that? But it kind of feels like, or you just really understand. Maybe some of you really, really understand where this person is coming from. And so you have a great deal of like love and compassion for them, and you want to see them thrive, and you want to see them have a better life. Maybe you want someone to actually hold themselves accountable or apologize or do better. I think maybe it's definitely possible that some of you in this group are like, I don't care about this person, but like you're still kind of curious. So you're watching, like you're like, I hate them. But I think for some of you, you genuinely hold love in your heart for this person, and you see their potential, and you want them to, you want them to grow, to change, and to be better. And so I think that that probably makes a lot of you really sad to see the way that this person chooses to live their life. And I think that if you did get hot and cold and inconsistent and like Jekyll and Hyde with this person, you may have thought to yourself, well, I guess the nice, good part of them isn't real, because if it is, how could this evil part of them exist, or this, kind of terrible part? And so I think sometimes our brains really want to make sense of things. And so it tries to pick one. Like maybe if you are in a relationship with someone that is not treating you well, you keep thinking about their good side and you excuse their bad side. And it's like, they're really good. I know they're really good. I've seen them be really good. And then maybe like sometimes like after you break up with this person and you're like, they're evil, they're bad. Like the good part was fake. And sometimes I think the good part is fake. But I think that many of you are dealing with someone here that it's almost like they get kind of like taken over, by another part of themselves, or even like, I think I said this in another reading, but it just feels like it's coming through again, where it's almost like it feels like they're like taken over demonically, like they're possessed, it's almost like you want to like do an exorcism, because it's like you're so wonderful when you're not possessed by that demon that does all that weird stuff. But I'm getting a little bit off track, or I guess these are maybe the messages that want to come. But, when they see you, or when they see you online, or when they hear about you, I think that they kind of like breathe you in a little bit. I almost wondered, I thought like when I pulled these cards, maybe they would have anxiety, because if something has happened between you or something's going on between you, I would imagine that maybe it would make them anxious or shameful or something. And yet this person is feeling like, yeah, they're kind of like breathing you in. So it makes me wonder again, if like some of you are not talking to this person because it feels like they miss you and they're like absorbing something. And so, and I wonder actually too, if like they don't see you, or you don't have an online presence, or you blocked them, or like you don't have anyone in common, so they don't hear anything about you anymore. And so you feel like a distant memory, in which case they seem to be calling up memories and calling up things in imagination in order to feel your energy again. And I wonder if you feel this person in your energy sometimes. Maybe you are having like weird memories come up that you haven't thought about in forever. And it's almost like you wonder, are they remembering this? And that's why I am. So there is a softness here. And I wonder, some of you may be trying to work something out with someone. And so I don't want to like go down this like path of like, they're awful, they're terrible, they lie to you, stay away from them. Like, I'm just telling you what I'm getting here. And you've got to obviously like apply the messages to yourself. Like you'll know whether these things are true or not. Like, but I will say that this person seems to be sort of trapped. It's almost like they're trapped in a prison of their own making to a degree. Like maybe it does go so far back to like they were a baby and they developed certain defense mechanisms and it's carried through life or something like that. Like it's not their fault, but it does feel like they're keeping themselves in a prison. And perhaps because it feels comfortable, because it feels safe, it's what they know. Maybe it's because they just can't see outside of it right now. Like we can find reasons for it and we can feel compassion for this person. But the truth of the matter is like even more so about like how they feel when they see you. This is more about them and what they're going through. You're like in this little bubble. It's like you're kind of floating around somewhere in their emotions, and that they sometimes are quite focused on you and they want to reach out to you and touch you and like, but if something's not real, there's illusions here and they're not moving forward. The Fool is literally about moving forward, and this is not. And it also feels like with the roses, whether this was romantic or not, they could sometimes just be really dwelling on you, or again, they may have some kind of like relationship addiction where they always need to sort of like feel like someone's in love with them or they're in love or something. But the thing is with this person, even when they're like quote unquote in love, I don't think they are in a real way. And I hope that that makes sense to you, because I get the sense that most of you here do love in a more authentic and real and open way, even if you've made mistakes. And I think that you do feel like you've made mistakes. But I want to get more information. I want to go a little bit deeper into like what else they think about you, not just like when they see you, but like what they're kind of thinking about you generally. I do get the strong sense that this person does not want you to know what they're thinking about you, which is interesting because I feel like I've been getting lots of information. And even in the last question, like it didn't feel secretive, but now it kind of, and I wonder if that's why I didn't get more of their thoughts. They don't, I mean, we're gonna find out what they think about you, but I just feel like they either don't want you to know that they are thinking about you this much, or they don't, I'm going to shuffle this again. They don't want you to know exactly what they're thinking, which actually makes sense because I do feel like they hide things. We have the 3 of Swords and the 2 of Cups. Okay. The 9 of Cups. And we have the 5 of Wands, which says to me, again, some of you may actively be in some kind of an argument or something with them, but I do kind of feel like a lot of you don't talk to this person based on a lot of things that have come forward. The fact that the 3 of Swords came out with the 2 of Cups, you know, and it just feels like not only do they do feel sad, they do feel heartbroken, there is some grief happening, and there's just this really kind of like sad feeling of like there's something being lost. And I wonder if for some of you, like it wasn't even clear how much this person ever cared about you. Like some of you may have been love bombed and like, I love you so much. You're so wonderful. There's all these things I love about you, et cetera, et cetera. And then it was like, okay, I guess none of that was true. And some of you may have been like, okay, this person has this many feelings for me. They never made it clear. I think there's a few things going on here. But there's a lot of hopefulness here. And so the next question I am going to ask after we look at these cards is like, what else this person maybe wants to happen or what their intentions are. But some of that is here too. And I'm just realizing how long this reading is getting, but hopefully whoever's listening wanted a long reading. So, I think that they really, really, really do think of you as someone special. Even if they didn't treat you that way, or if they didn't treat you that way toward the end, or they chose someone over you, these kinds of things, they seem to see you as some kind of match for them, some kind of important connection where you had some kind of a special bond. And I think that they wish for that. I think that you felt very emotionally fulfilling to this person. Again, I think some of you might be surprised to hear that, or you thought it was bullshit when they said it. But yeah, this person definitely, I think that maybe their emotional world felt better when you were around, which could be surprising if they were emotionally all over the map, acting wild all the time, you know, and they may have made you start to feel like you were emotionally all over the map. I really feel like with this 5 of Wands, you know, a lot of times we see 5 figures kind of fighting, but we have one figure here kind of leaping away, and it feels like they're trying to leap away from conflict. So this could be the like conflict between you. They're trying to rise above it. They're trying to get away from that and like into a state. They're like trying to escape something like that. It is possible for those of you who like don't have this person in your life right now, things could be not going well in their life, either with their relationships, with their job, with probably multiple things in their life. There seems to be like fires with these wands of fire, but like fires that they're having trouble putting out, or they don't know how. Like, again, there's an escape with this person where they may be using even you as an escape, whether you are currently in their life and they're using you to escape other things, which makes sense with this person's energy. Maybe they also did that in the past, or maybe right now they're escaping into thoughts of you. Maybe, again, they're being quite nostalgic or very sentimental about old times, the ways that you made them feel. This could be kind of putting you on a pedestal a little bit, like remembering things in more of a romantic, and again, it doesn't have to be a romantic connection for this to be the case, but like, when your mind kind of gets romantic about things, like it kind of feels like they could be romanticizing the past for some of you too, or genuinely remembering how lovely and wonderful you were, how you made them feel safe or nurtured or comforted or understood. I think that, again, I really think that you are likely to be a very empathetic person, because not only has that come through a few times, but it also is coming through in this feeling of them feeling understood by you. And it makes me wonder if this was unusual for them. Even if they are surrounded by other compassionate individuals, it seems like you may have understood them on a level that is rare, unusual, or that has not happened to them before or in a long time. And so they could be thinking a lot about that. And like, they may even feel in some ways like, I do feel like a little regret, but I wouldn't say I'm feeling a ton of that. Again, because I don't feel like they're currently actively living in a grounded reality where they're facing themselves, facing their actions, facing the things that happened. Like, I wonder if they blamed you for a lot of things. And the Three of Swords is actually making me think that too, of kind of like, instead of facing that they may be dealing with pain, loss, or heartbreak because of their own actions, it feels like they are potentially blaming you, and maybe even blaming you and other people. Like, they could be like, oh, everyone always hurts me. Nobody loves me. Like, no one gets me, blah, 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 when you seem to have gone above and beyond to be understanding toward this person and give them many chances. So I think that, they've hurt themselves. And I think that they do feel a great deal of loss, and they also feel a great deal of hope around you. Hope to have you care about them, love them, be kind to them. We have roses showing up again. I can't stop thinking about, even when the rose metaphor came up the first time, I don't even think there were any roses in the cards, were there? Now we're seeing them. So it drives home this feeling for me again of like, you really tried to hold on to something beautiful with this person, or you have been trying, and yet you keep getting hurt. And they may not be intending to do that to you, but it doesn't change the fact that you keep getting hurt. What are you going to do? It's not your responsibility to remove their thorns or to make them into someone that doesn't hurt you. That's their responsibility. And what I think is that they should feel worse for the ways that they've hurt you. So that's my opinion. Maybe they haven't meant to, but I think that even in this Nine of Cups, this Nine of Cups is often like about emotional fulfillment. And like, we have this crystal ball here, and it feels like this person is like making a wish, trying to make something happen, trying to bring something back. And yet I don't see them necessarily doing anything real about it. It seems like sometimes they're kind of like sitting in their feelings, which I actually think is a good thing. Okay. Like, I think that sitting in your feelings and allowing them is a highly positive thing to do. And yet I feel more like this person is kind of like feeling bad for themselves. It's more like pity party energy, which again, I don't think it's a problem to throw yourself a pity party every once in a while. We all have to be here living lives. Like, it sucks sometimes. Like, let's get real. But with that said, it does feel there's just a strong level of emotional immaturity here, and a person that doesn't see clearly and is kind of feels like they're refusing to do that. And I feel like in some ways it feels impossible to do that. But I want to see like what else they want to happen or what their intentions are. Okay, we have the 8 of Swords. King of Pentacles. Ace of Cups. And we have the 4 of Wands. Okay. So, all right. There's dual and unsurprising energies, I guess, here with someone who shows up as inconsistent. There's inconsistency in their intentions, in their desires of what they intend to actually do. So it doesn't surprise me. And I think that it's very possible that this does change day to day or change based on whatever they're going through in life, or, you know, whether they're on a substance or off a substance, this kind of thing. I think that there certainly is hopefulness here. There's a desire for a new beginning. There is a desire for connection and joy and happiness. And they want to come across as someone that is safe, that is trustworthy. They may actually have the intentions of being this person. I just have my doubts that they could even get anywhere like that anytime soon. So it makes me think that like whether or not it's their true intention to be like a safe, healthy person, that it doesn't feel like that's currently very possible. But I also think that some people here just really want to appear that way. They want you to see them that way. And they want to ensure that if they do come in or they reach out or they try to take some kind of an action in your relationship, that they are doing it in a way that would be perceived as them being responsible and safe and trustworthy and honest. They definitely want to come across this way. And they may even truly intend to be coming from that kind of a place. The problem is that they're unable to do that right now. They may be able to do it in a manipulative way, sure. But they may also be scared that they are not that person, that they cannot come across as that person. You know, the 4 of Wands, we normally have 2 or more figures and we have 1. And again, it kind of feels like, you know, and maybe this is just this deck. I haven't used it very many times. I really like it. But maybe it's just that there's always one cat in every picture. But there is a feeling here, I keep noticing it, where there is a separation, there is a disconnection, there is a feeling not only that maybe you do not talk to one another or you're on 2 sides of a coin right now and having trouble getting on the same page, or that this person is not really living in reality with you. And you know, the argument could be made that we're all living in our own individual realities, right? But there is something very ungrounded about this person at this time, and maybe through the whole time you've known them, or maybe it's only been recent, where they just seem to not be living with the rest of us. Even if we perceive things different, even if we feel things different, this person's like in outer space somehow. Like they're in a body, but they're not in their body. Like they're using their brain, but they're not really connected to it in a meaningful way. There's some kind of disconnection within their own energy. The 8 of Swords is like the card of stuckness and even just a mental prison. And so I think that there's really this feeling of like, even though they really intend and want for you to see them in a healthy way and they want like a new start and they want things to be positive and they want something lovely and wonderful, they feel incapable of doing anything about it. They feel, I think their mind really messes with them. And, it's very possible that they're very tuned in to like what you're feeling. If you're angry with this person, if you're over it, if, these kinds of things, they may be picking up on it. So even if they have these like desires for something else, they may be very like aware on some level of like how difficult it could be. And for those of you that are like currently involved with this person and you're like, I'm right here willing to have a conversation, they're still in their head about it. They have some kind of a mental trap, a prison. They live in a prison. I mean, sure, literally they could be in prison, but for most people here, they feel trapped. They feel mentally, emotionally trapped. They feel, I think sometimes it's easier to imagine because they don't really have to do anything about it. If they live in imagination, they don't have to change. If they take a substance and it makes them feel better, they can keep just doing that. And then, if they get to a point where now they're dependent on a substance, then they may want to escape, withdrawals or having to heal from that or having to face consequences. I do feel sad for this person and I feel sad for you, whether you are having to deal with this now or you did. If you were hoping that this person has changed, if you've been relating to this reading, I would not say that they've changed. And I think that most of you are actually very aware of that you kind of know that anyway. This reading has gotten quite long and I want to do the other two tonight. So I'm going to wrap that up for you today, group one. But I just want to say that like, if you are dealing with these energies right now, I'm so sorry. And I hope that you're able to find a way, to have peace in your life. And if this is energy you're healing from, I do think you're going to be just fine. You have really lovely energy, but I think that you do come across sensitive. And sometimes those of us who are sensitive have a tougher time healing from these things, but you're going to be okay. So I love you so much. Thank you for spending time with me today. And if you enjoyed this reading, or I guess if you found the reading helpful, please like the video to let me know. Leave a comment if you want to tell me what's been going on for you. And subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you again soon. Okay? Bye. Hi, group two. You chose the Pink Aragonite and the Everyday Witch Tarot. Welcome to your reading. So today's reading is about what goes through someone's mind when they see you. We are going to start with an energy check. I've already shuffled this deck, so we're going to get right into it. But I just want to quickly let you know what we're looking at. We are going to start with how you're currently perceiving this person and the dynamic. If that doesn't sound familiar to you in any way, I would try another group. Okay. Once we do that, we're going to see what kind of their thoughts or their initial reaction is when they see you in person or online, or they hear about you or they hear from you. And then we're going to get more information about their thoughts about you and then what they want to happen or their intentions. So let's start with that energy check and see how you're perceiving this person and the dynamic between you at this time. The King of Wands. The Three of Swords. The Knight of Swords. And the Four of Cups. All right. I really was thinking with these readings today, I don't know. I thought we were going to get more like kind of crushy energy for some reason. I don't know what group 3 holds, but that was not the case in group 1. I would say group 1 was a little bit heavier. And with the Three of Swords here and the Four of Cups here, I'm wondering if there's a little bit of heaviness here with you as well, though it does feel different. Though I believe we had the Knight of Swords in the last one too. So let's take a look here. it seems like you may be worried about this connection or worried about whether this person is actually good or not. Like it kind of feels like you're worried that this could be something like the past. And so I honestly am not able to tell right away if this is something that's not great or if it is and it's just like fears or your perception. So I would say that this might be your group if you are kind of feeling that way, like you're feeling maybe uncertain about somebody or you're worried about things, you're wondering if something is a red flag or not, you're wondering if someone is consistent or not. And so let me get into this energy a little bit, and then hopefully we can get some information for you that will help you to know, because it feels like you're having trouble kind of trusting this or trusting the things that this person says or does. So that leads me to believe perhaps that this is a newer person in your life, that maybe you don't know them very well, or you don't know them deeply just yet. Or maybe something recent has happened, but I feel like with this Knight of Swords, I really feel like you just want the truth. You just want to cut through any bullshit. You want transparency. You just want to know what you're getting into with another person, because you just need to know what direction to take. You don't want to be hurt. You don't want to be hurt again. And yeah, this Four of Cups and the Three of Swords are making me think that you've definitely been hurt before, whether that is in like huge intense ways with big betrayals, or if it's even like smaller things, like you were excited about someone and then they ghosted you, and then you were excited about someone else and they turned out to be kind of a jerk. Like, you know, whether it's like smaller or bigger, multiple things potentially in the past have been wounding, have been painful, have hurt you. And so it seems like you are currently in a situation with someone where you're really just not totally sure whether this is somebody you can trust or not. They may not be new to you. This could be someone that you've known for a little while, but you are questioning their intentions now, or you're wondering if you overlooked something. So that is a possibility too. But it seems like you're kind of worried about being served like another cup of like BS. Like, you know, sometimes the Four of Cups is like a card of like, I've been disappointed before, I'm just gonna be disappointed again. But it can also be like, I mean, it, especially in this one right now, it looks like this person is like considering things. It's almost like, okay, I've been told this, I've been told this, and I've been told this, I've been shown this, you know, which of this is true, which of it's not. It's almost like if like maybe you know mutual people and someone has said something to you, or like you're trying to date someone and their ex said something to you, and so now you're like, do I need to question something about this person? Or maybe their words and their actions didn't totally match up. Or maybe you just, every time someone has been super sweet to you in the past, it was love bombing. And so now you're like, well, I don't trust anyone being sweet to me. I don't know what it is for you, but it does feel like you are both thinking, you are thinking about things that have hurt previously, and you're worried about it, and you're worried that you're not seeing this clearly or truthfully. And it really feels like you just want, I mean, the King of Wands says often to me, you know, just authenticity. And it feels like you just want like authentic truth. I also feel like, you know, the wands are fire, and I feel like fire signs are like some of the most truthful. Like, I mean, obviously there are liars of all signs and there are truth tellers of all signs, but I feel like, you know, I grew up around a lot of fire signs, and I feel like they tend to tell the truth. And so it feels like you want the truth, whether it's going to be hard to hear or not. You want to know what's going on. You want to know what this person is planning to do. You want an authentic connection with another person, and you seem very worried about this, and you're really wanting to know what direction to take. It feels like you're wondering whether it's safe to put your emotions into something. And the cups are often about emotions. And the number 4 is often about safety and security. And so that even doubles up this message of like, am I safe here to be open, or is something going to happen again? It's very possible that this person has previously hurt you and you're wondering if you can trust them again. If what they're saying to you now is actually trustworthy, if it's actually honest, if they really mean it, and the Knight of Swords sometimes does speak to someone being inconsistent or impulsive. I do feel a lot of this card here is about wanting the truth, but I do wonder if you feel like you're dealing with someone who hasn't been consistent and you're wondering if you're getting the truth from them now. So I think that at this point, you likely know if this is your group. You can relate to something here. And so let's now get into what this person thinks. So we're going to kind of start with like what they think when they see you, what they think when they hear from you, what they think when they hear about you. So what goes through this person's mind? We have the Moon and one that fell on the floor. Let me grab it. The Empress. We have the Seven of Wands and the Chariot. When the Moon and the Empress came out, they split off in 2 different directions. And these are also like 2 very different cards. And so it does make me think that this person doesn't necessarily have consistent thoughts or consistent reactions. And that could also be why you're perceiving them as inconsistent. Because on some level, they absolutely do have some kind of inconsistent energy. And look at this Chariot card too. I just noticed this way, that way. Again, it's like this kind of feeling of, they seem to have some kind of uncertainty going on. And we see that with the Moon as well. I wonder if this person is also acting from a place of fear, and not that you have been acting from a place of fear yourself, but that you do come across as having some worried energy or some fears or some anxieties. But it does kind of feel like this person also does, but in different ways, and that they may actually be acting from a place of fear. So this could be their own insecurities in relation to other people, their own pain that they've dealt with in relationships that have made them somewhat guarded, or it could be that they do tend to be kind of uncertain or impulsive. I don't think they trust you either, honestly. And I don't mean that as you being not a trustworthy person. What I mean is that they seem to have some issues. You both seem to have some stuff going on in relationship and connection to other people. I'm having trouble telling right away if it's like kind of similar stuff where if you like talked and got on the same page, everything would make more sense. Or if like, this really isn't something that you can lean on. So again, I want to get more information about that, but I want to go with what we've got here to start. So it feels like sometimes this person feels very gung-ho about you and wanting to move towards you and wanting to be around you. If this is romantic, which it has been feeling like it is, but of course, if this is relating to you and it's not romantic, that's okay. But I would say, with the Empress being here, that they find you incredibly attractive, that they are very into you, and they think that they find you somewhat like mysterious. And I almost feel like they see you as like forbidden fruit in some way. Like, I wonder if this person has trouble committing to people in general because it feels scary to them, or if in particular you seem too good for them or out of their league, and this could be scaring them quite a bit. And I mean, even if this isn't romantic and it's like a new friend or something like this, like, I don't know, it still feels like someone feels like you might be too good for them, or you're going to see through them or something, and then you're going to be on your way out at the speed of light, you know? I think that they may be used to people either getting defensive toward them, or they might be very defensive. Like they are coming across as really guarded and really uncertain, and sometimes they seem more open than other times. This person has a kind of a confused energy that I have to admit is kind of difficult and uncomfortable for me to sit in. And I don't know if this is just how they operate or if it's just right now in relation to you. But I feel like they've this can go in a few different ways, but it kind of feels like they have had other people mad at them for the way that they've been in connections with other people. And, you know, for some of you, I think that this is like rightful that people have been mad at them. Like they've maybe taken actions or said things that were like kind of stupid or like not cool, or were like, you know, maybe they acted like they were committed to someone and then they just went on their merry way. They could be doing things like this, but I'm also getting the message for some of you that this person could be like not very socially gifted, or not very socially aware, or they're kind of bad at like reading cues, or they don't have a lot of relationship experience, so they tend to be like awkward or something like that. And so they may have turned people off without meaning to, and now they may be very scared about doing that again. So that could be a message for some of you as well. I do think that this person does have some defensive energy, and we see that in the Seven of Wands as well. And they do have some fearful energy. I think like they might project a little too far into the future as well and scare themselves and then want to leave. So, I feel like I need to keep exhaling. Their energy is feeling kind of uncomfortable and chaotic for me. And again, I'm kind of uncertain if it's like energy I just don't like. Of course, I'm trying not to put my opinion in this, but it's kind of hard not to. Or if this is just they are currently kind of really anxious and uncomfortable. We do see a lot of anxiety with the moon and with the Seven of Wands. And even this Chariot card feels pretty anxious. Usually the Chariot knows where they want to go. They're on their way. They're speeding ahead. This Chariot is not moving. And it's like she's like, which way do I go? This way or that way? I don't know. Like, I really can't tell. So they're kind of confused about you. So when they see you, I wonder if they act really weird with you lately. And you can't like read them, or they're not really like that friendly or something, because they're kind of uncertain. If this is someone you were kind of like involved with in some way, and now you're taking a break from them or something, and they see you in public or something, I feel like they get pretty intense anxiety, because if something was going on between you that was uncomfortable for them, they're still very much uncomfortable. But at the same time, they find you very like brilliant and attractive and like a bright light. And I absolutely think that they think you're too good for them, and that they can't measure up in some way. So I am going to get more information about their, what else they think about you, and see if that answers some questions. If it doesn't, I'm gonna get some more information. Let's just see what happens. Okay, what else do they think about you? We have the Hanged Man. The Two of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. Still like super confusing, conflicted energy. In some ways, they seem to see so much potential here, and certainly like romantic potential if this is a romantic situation. I think that they see you as like so wonderful, and that you would be a wonderful partner, or that you are a wonderful partner. They have these like ideas about these things that they want to experience with you, and things that they want to build with you and begin with you. And yet, wow, there's so much anxiety in this reading. I wonder if you're both anxious, but whether or not you're anxious, this person is absolutely dealing with some anxiety. And I just think that they feel like they're not good enough for you. Like they're gonna ruin something, or they're going to cause trouble, or they're going to mess something up. It almost feels like with this Hanged Man, they want to lock themselves up to protect you. That maybe if you're not talking right now, or if they're not making moves towards you, if they're being really kind of weird, they may be doing that purposefully because they're trying to come to a place of clarity, or they're trying to kind of like calm themselves down and see what happens. And it's going to be different for all of you. So I don't want to like say that. I do feel like for some of you, this is not the person for you, because I can tell for some of you. But then there's others of you here where like you just need to like communicate with this person in some way to sort something out. I think they're a little bit worried about you hurting them, but they seem to be more worried about them hurting you, which I think is part of what concerns me, I guess, because it's like, why are they so worried about hurting you? Is that because they've hurt somebody else? I don't know. And again, there are going to be different people here. They do think you're lovely. They don't think they are lovely. They take issue with themselves. I don't know that it goes to the extent that it's like self-hatred, but they want to be good enough for you, and they don't feel good enough for you. They want to be someone that can build something with you, that can do something. I wonder if this is someone that you have been with, like you've been dating them, or you've been spending time with them, and like you think you've been building something with them, and then they act really weird, or they kind of disappear. It doesn't feel like this person is necessarily like lying or hiding things or like cheating or something like that. It just feels more like they have really either deep self-worth issues that need being looked at, or they've been like made to believe they're a bad person, like even like in childhood. Yeah, I think this person's carrying around some beliefs, and I don't know if these beliefs are valid or not. Again, this could vary for some of you, where some of you, like this person just like really has some fears and some beliefs that if they're willing to look at them and work on them, something could really be sorted out here. And for others of you, and I think that you have an intuitive knowing if this is the case, for others of you, this person really is not probably good for you. Again, like it seems like there's a few camps here, and that if you're having an anxious feeling, not just like, oh, I didn't hear from them today, but like you've been having kind of a consistent anxious feeling about this person, like you've kind of wondered if they are safe. I do wonder if that's your intuition telling you something. But again, for some of you, I think that it's just really that you're both kind of needing to like get on the same page. But regardless of the situation exactly, I would say that this person is dealing with a lot of anxiety and some like beliefs about themselves and relationships that aren't the best and that are not necessarily serving them. And the thing is that I think ultimately you might have a choice about, I mean, you also have the choice this way or that way. Do you want to work on something with them, or do you prefer not to? I want to see because I kind of want to see if you can trust them. And I kind of want to see if we can find out if you like, I don't know. I want to do that, but before I see what like their intentions are, what they are wanting, because like the anxiety is making me very uncomfortable and I want to get a little bit more clarity. I do want to stress, this is a collective reading. If you are just feeling like, if you were feeling fine and you were just like, I'm not sure about this person, and now the things I'm saying are making you feel anxious, this probably isn't your reading. It would be like, if a reading is causing you anxiety, it's probably not yours. If it is like telling you things that you already know, or that you're like, yeah, I wasn't sure, but yeah, you're right, then it could be your reading. Okay. So I get nervous, I guess, sometimes in these because I don't want to scare someone off of a connection. That could be great because again, it's a collective reading. So there's energy here, not your specific, only your energy, but your energy and others, of course. So I just want to know, I guess, like, what do you need to know about whether or not this person is trustworthy or safe for you? We have the Two of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. The Six of Cups and the Tower. Well, I should not be surprised that we keep getting kind of like cards that mean this and then cards that mean that, and here they are together. So, ultimately, some of this is about trusting your own intuitive knowing. Sometimes it's very hard to know what our intuition is saying when we have like anxiety and hopes and all of these things wrapped up in something. And so, one thing that has helped me at times is to write it down, because I feel like it gets things out of my head, and sometimes I'm able to more clearly tell how I truly feel about something or someone. So that could be helpful for some of you. But if there are certain ways that you tend to be able to be more tuned into your intuition, if you have ways of grounding yourself, like spending time outside or gardening or with plants, or with certain friends or family members, or in certain places, anything that kind of calms you down and brings you into a state of balance could be really helpful for you to see this more clearly. And that's, I guess, kind of obvious, right? Because if you're just kind of staying in your own mind and getting wrapped up in the anxiety, it's probably just going to keep feeling like anxiety. I wonder if you guys have someone or multiple people in your life that you really trust their opinion. And so it may be worth talking this out with somebody who doesn't tend to be like judgmental or doesn't tend to want to like control your actions. Like if you have like an older sibling that gets really protective over you, that might not be the person to talk to, even if you love and trust them, but maybe like a friend who will hear out things. Because again, I do think for some of you, this is a trustworthy situation. It's just whether or not you want to work it out with someone. And for others of you, it's just maybe not the right thing for you. And, and the Seven of Pentacles can talk a little bit about that too, of like, there's still some time for some of you to kind of see like what this is. Like the Seven of Pentacles is kind of like sometimes about keep going. If if you don't know yet if this is good or bad or right or wrong for you, you may just want to go a little bit further and see what happens, unless you feel like you're in danger or something. If that's the case, you need to get far away from someone you feel is a danger to your safety in any way. I don't think that's the case for most of you here, because you probably wouldn't be watching this, but with the Six of Cups, maybe someone that's known you since you were young could be a really good person to talk to about this. But also, this makes me think about really going within and thinking about who and what makes you feel safe. Over the course of time, the people that you've known as an adult, as a teenager, as a kid, what kinds of people, what kinds of energies made you feel safe and which ones didn't? Like, even if you had anxiety, like, if you were 7 years old and you made a new friend and you were nervous at first because you thought maybe they wouldn't like you, but they ultimately were wonderful. You seem to have some worries about this person. And so can you think of anyone throughout your life that this person reminds you of even a little bit, or even reminds you of someone you see in a movie or on TV or you read about in a book? Like sometimes, you know, we notice kind of similarities. And so if you're thinking like, this person reminds me of someone that wasn't healthy for me, that could be a sign. But it could also be that your mind is like, I'm scared of love. So it's coming up with all these things. And so I guess like really, I feel so much confusion on your end and this person's, and that the type of confusion differs. But I think that ultimately your gut, you know the answer. You know whether or not you want to move toward this and to give it a chance. And I think some of you may be able to tell that like this doesn't feel right, but you don't have a good reason for that. And so you keep maybe overriding that or trying to come up with excuses. But if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. I kind of think some of you are trying to like talk yourselves out of it because you're like, well, there's no good reason for me to feel that way. I should give someone a chance. I might be afraid to love again. These kinds of things. But you have to trust your gut. And for some of you, it's like you may be just scared and this is new and you just don't know yet. And so you may need to just kind of play the game a little bit, not like play this person, but kind of like play the dating game, like keep going out, see what you think of this person, see how they make you feel, because this could also be a really gentle, sweet person who is also just scared. And ultimately, you really need to trust your gut. And, you know, I wonder actually with this tower, if someone here, like, if one of you feels like you tend to ruin things or you make these snap decisions too quickly, or like you had love and then you ruined it or something, that's not going to be for everybody. But if that's the case for you, that might be part of where the fear is coming from, because you think you're the red flag, you know, like, it just feels kind of like too with this tower, like, you don't want to make a decision too quickly. You want to give something a chance to see if it's real. And this could be advice around that. It could be that you are meant to just give it a little bit more time. You know, sometimes we do know right away and sometimes we don't. I do want to ask the last question I was going to ask, which is what do they want to happen and what are their intentions? And if I feel like the reading's not over at that point, I'll ask something else. So what is this person's intentions at this time? What do they want to happen? The Hermit. The Emperor. Temperance. And the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. It kind of seems to me that this person is kind of in a wait and see mentality right now. They are kind of wanting to leave it up to fate or leave it up to you a little bit. Like that's sort of where their intentions are right now. So if they've been very quiet or distant or something like that, it's because they're kind of trying to see either if the universe will bring you together or what you will do, or if they somehow have some kind of spark of inspiration. You know, I would say the Emperor is a more go and get it kind of guy, but, and I'm not saying your person is a guy, they might be, but this one kind of feels like, I mean, these look like constellations to me, and it kind of feels like, the universe and wanting to see kind of like, how does the astrology bring you together? Does the universe, does fate bring you together? We have fate with the Wheel of Fortune, like, you know, and this Temperance card, even like, I've never noticed this when I looked at the temperance card, but she has one eye closed and one eye open. And it almost kind of feels like this temperance card is also kind of a wait and see. And there is a hope here, but I don't know. For someone here, I just keep getting an energy where I I don't know. Again, I think there's two camps here, but one of you, I don't trust this person for you. And so I think I do want to get some more information. I want to get some advice and guidance for you actually at the end, just to see if we can understand a little bit more what you're meant to do here. But, we have this hermit, we have this person kind of like feels like they're kind of taking a time out. They're kind of thinking about things. They're hoping maybe they'll have some kind of divine inspiration or idea about what to do. And it kind of seems like they're just, wait and see, allow, kind of hoping that they'll either figure something out or you will reach out to them or something like that. I didn't talk enough, I think, about their thoughts about you, but it ends up being about other things. But when I do look at what they think about you, they do think you're lovely. They think that you're a pleasant person, that you're an interesting person. They think that you have like a sweetness to you. They find you attractive. They want to take a chance on you, but sometimes feel like it will be too much of a chance. They're afraid that they'll hurt you. They're afraid you will hurt them. They're afraid it will end in disaster, that they will put effort into something to grow it and to make it beautiful and to make it wonderful, and it will all be torn apart. They are nervous and they are scared and they are anxious. And I do have to wonder a little bit if they have a good reason to be, not because I think that you're going to hurt them, but I do wonder if they have things that they may need to work out before they get more involved with somebody. I kind of have that feeling a little bit. Maybe it is something that you can work out together, especially if you really want this, or if you really want to work on something and grow something with them. I do think for some of you, for the group of you where this person is less maybe trustworthy, is that they may want to exert some power over the situation. And, like the silent treatment could be an exertion of that power. Like it could be less about them needing space or needing to think and more like a punishment or something like that. And you're going to know better than I will if that's the case for you. Like, especially if you've known this person for a while and they have a proneness to punishing you for perceived slights or things like that. And if that's the case, I don't like it. There's like a Russian roulette feeling to this of like, oh, let's see what happens. Like, I do feel like this person does have like a non-committal energy, in the sense that it may come from fear. It may come from something else. But I feel like this person would definitely need to work through some stuff in order to be like a committed, stable, and consistent person. Let's get you some advice. I feel like we need to end it with getting you some kind of guidance. Yeah. 10 of Swords, Ace of Wands, King of Swords. We have the Ace of Cups, and we also have the Five of Cups. Listen, I feel like some of you have been like watching readings or getting readings done, or like pulling your own cards to try to get answers about this. This reminds me of someone, I'm not going to call out who they are, but someone I know who had been like pulling really positive cards for someone that they were dating. And this person asked me to pull cards because they were like, I'm pulling really positive cards, but like, I'm not certain about them. And I was like pulling stuff that was like, no, this is not positive. And I kind of felt bad. I was like, I don't even know if I should tell you this because, from what I'm seeing, and I'm saying these things, and this person was like, yeah, that stuff's correct. So it's making me, I think I'm thinking about this situation because I'm wondering if some of you are like finding readings or pulling cards that are like really positive, for example, but you're like, is that actually true? Because I still feel kind of weird. And if that's the case, it kind of makes me wonder why we keep getting like positive and negative, positive cards, negative cards. Again, I'm not saying for all of you this is a situation where this is someone you can't trust, but I am getting this message really strongly for someone to the point where it is making me anxious and a little bit nauseous. And so I feel like because it's such a strong energy, I have to keep bringing it up and I have to say it because I do think for someone here, this is someone that is ultimately going to be hurtful towards you, even if they have the best of intentions, because whether or not they are quote unquote bad, they do have something that they absolutely need to work on in order to be like an appropriate person to be in a relationship with. And it's not like, I'm not trying to say that like some people are worthy of love and some aren't, but I do feel like some people should not be in like romantic relationships, for example, with like if you're like a lovely, sweet, open, giving person and you've grown and you've prepared yourself for a relationship and then someone else is like dealing with a bunch of junk from childhood that they haven't even begun to sort out and they're going to like treat a lovely person wrong. I don't like that. I don't think that's right. And I don't think that's fair. And so I think for someone here, I am worried about that for you. And I just want to make sure that if this is the case for you, that you don't enter into or advance more into a situation where you are going to be hurt because this person may not mean to do it. Again, like I don't want to leave out the fact that like this could be positive for some of you. We do have in the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups, like these are often very positive beginnings, can definitely talk like about a lovely new beginning in love, in relationships, a passionate, creative new beginning. However, we start with a 10 of Swords and we end with a 5 of Cups. I can't ignore that. I don't like it. And like, it is hard for me sometimes in a collective reading because I do feel like there's multiple people here and I don't want to turn someone off of like something that could be really great. And so again, if you're like, yeah, I do feel like I'm in this reading, but I actually feel like this person is good and I just want to work some things out with them, take that message. But I feel like there's a much stronger message coming in for some people here because it's more important that someone knows that this is not ultimately going to be the best for you. It makes me so uncomfortable. The energy does. It's like, I haven't felt like energy this like nauseating in a little while and I do not like it. And it makes me feel very protective over you. And I want to protect the person here that is dealing with someone that could be harmful. Again, they may not mean to be. People are sometimes dealing with junk from the past and like, it's not your responsibility to do it. Your stuff is your responsibility. And yes, we can help each other as people to work through things, to learn and to grow. And relationships are a wonderful way to do that. And yet sometimes it is a mismatch because you could end up taking on the responsibility of someone else's like possibly major issues, or like you could take on the burden of feeling like everything is your fault when it's not. I just feel like for some reason, this King of Swords, it's feeling like a couple of things to me. The first thing, it kind of feels like, again, there could be somebody with like control issues or wanting things to be their way or like being very, I don't know, like domineering or something like that, or their energy ends up being the dominant energy. Even if they are not like a domineering person, they could end up taking over. You know what I mean? Like there could be these beautiful feeling beginnings that are then turn into something totally different. Like we have these beginnings that seem to turn into unpleasant endings. We have like positive beginning energy, but we do not have positive ending energy. If I saw the world here, if I saw the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, that would be a different story, but I don't. I see the 10 of Swords here and the 5 of Cups, and I also have to believe the fact that I do not feel well while I do this reading. There's an energy that has arisen during this reading that I do not like. And so I have to say it. And the King of Swords can also talk about being very clear and being very clear with yourself and not allowing yourself to wander into a direction of believing in a potential, believing in the hope, believing in an illusion. I think that many of us have this, you meet someone and you may be attracted to them, or you may be excited about them, or maybe you were single for a while. We have all these reasons that like someone comes in and we want it to be something wonderful. And so I feel like for some of you, you're hopeful and you have such a sweet, hopeful heart, and that it's maybe not that it's necessarily being misdirected, but that maybe this isn't really where hope lies for some of you. Because this Ace of Cups looks like a little daydreamy. This Ace of Wands kind of looks like all these ideas of things that could happen. And then it feels like at the ends here, we have the reality, the 10 of Swords and the 5 of Cups. I could say, just like I did in the beginning, that you're worried about these things happening and that there's potential for actually good things. But then I think what I would feel in this reading is something different. And what I feel anxious in a way that is more on the nauseating side. And I'm sorry that I keep saying it, but like somebody here needs to know this 10 of Swords. I mean, we almost always in the 10 of Swords see a figure lying here with swords in their bag, but we see someone in this 10 of Swords, and this card has come out for me before in this deck. We see someone running off, and like this person is like reaching for, it's like a witch reaching for her broom to get away. I never feel like, maybe this will change one day when I look at this card, but I never feel like this person is running to get help. It feels like they stabbed this figure and now they're running off. I feel like for some of you, there's an actual danger of physical harm. And I don't say that lightly because it's not going to be true for all of you. But for the person that it is true for, I feel like you have an inkling of this, or if you've seen it. Maybe this person is sweet 95% of the time, and 5% of the time they're angry or they're scary. And you might think like they were upset that day. Like it was 5% of the time. Like that's nothing. But the reality is that, when we talk like about abuse, for example, it doesn't matter if someone is abusive 100% of the time or 5% of the time, it is still abuse. So if you are dealing with someone where you have seen a side to them that does feel unsafe, this is very important for you to listen to, because you could end up in a situation that is really bad. And again, I'm not saying that's for everyone. And like, I feel like sometimes when I do these readings, people get mad because they're like, there was a really good card. There was the Ace of Cups and you hate this person. And I'm like, this isn't coming out of nowhere, guys. Like, I'm not like trying to direct a reading in a certain way. I genuinely wanted really positive readings today. And so I think that whether or not this is for you. I don't want you to end up in a state of despair or feeling like someone else is like this 5 of Cups again. Like this feels like this person is at like their birthday party and then like someone messed it up, So it makes me feel, again, not only that there could be like grief or loss with the 5 of Cups, but that someone else's energies could end up taking over. They may not be abusive. They may not be physically harmful. They may not be mentally or emotionally or intentionally harmful, but something about them could suck all the energy in the room, because I do feel like this person has stuff that needs to be looked at, that needs to be potentially worked on. And like, you may be very hopeful, but you've got to be rational, and you may be very anxious. I think like ultimately, I can't tell you for sure who this person is or what they're going to do. What I can tell you, if this is your group, is that it is vital for you to get in touch with your intuition and the rational side of you. If you are feeling anxious, we've got to calm down the anxiety for you to have clarity. If you are feeling hopeful, we need to ground you so that, again, you can be very in touch with the reality of the situation. And I think that regardless of like what you may feel you have to work on, this person definitely feels like they got some stuff to work on. And ultimately, you're going to know whether or not that's something that you want to do together. Or do you have things that you want to work on together? Because maybe you've got like similar stuff, or maybe you deserve better. And ultimately, you're going to know whether or not that's the case. I am just wishing you so much clarity, and that's all I've got for you today, group 2. Thank you for spending time with me. I do hope this was helpful for somebody out there. And if it was, if you can let me know, that would be really helpful. But I'm wishing you so much luck and so much love, and I'll see you again soon. Okay. Bye. Hi, group 3. You chose the Smithsonite and the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. Welcome to your reading today. We are finding out what goes through someone's mind when they see you. And we are going to start with an energy check. So you should know pretty quickly whether or not this sounds like somebody you know. And if not, go ahead and try another group. Hopefully you'll find yourself and your situation in one of these groups. And if not, I do have other readings. So I've already shuffled this deck. Let's go ahead and start with that energy check. So how are you currently perceiving this person and the dynamic between you? Justice. The World. 7 of Pentacles. And the Knight of Cups. Okay, so way more positive energies right off the bat. Not that the last 2 readings were bad in any way, but maybe more anxiety or more challenge in like the first one. But these are more positive energies right off the bat. Like it feels like something is potentially growing here, or it feels like it has a lot of potential to you. So I do wonder if some of you are already involved with someone. I think it's possible that there could be someone you're not involved with that you, feel a lot of potential with. Some of you could be in an actual relationship and you were just kind of curious to see what would come through. I mean, we'll see if this kind of moves down a specific path as we get into the reading, but there's a nice feeling here. It's a little bit more balanced and peaceful and feels like there's a lot of potential. And these readings do tend to lean romantic because I think most people drawn to them are in situations that are romantic, but I do feel like here this could be friendship or something else as well. And so if that is true for you and I say anything romantic, of course you can just disregard those specific messages. So you seem to be perceiving this person in a very positive light, though you may have moments where you feel like you're getting kind of anxious about where things are going, or you get a little bit like daydreamy or hopeful and you really want to kind of keep yourself balanced. That could be going on, but I do feel an overall kind of healthy feeling here where it does feel like there is potential for more in the future, where there is reciprocity, where it feels like you're being treated equally, or it seems like you may be a really good match. With the Justice card, let's see if we can maybe go card by card and get some more specifics. this can very much be about equality, reciprocity, and something, and being kind of objective about something. And so even if you're a little bit worried, sometimes with the Knight of Cups, we can worry a little bit about getting too lost in fantasy. And so there may be a little bit of a worry on your end about not wanting to overly fantasize about something and see it as something like amazing when it's not. Like, there was some energy in the last group, in group 2, where there was some worry. It was more anxious, and kind of like there's something similar here in the sense that it's like there may be something uncertain, especially if someone is new. And so you may worry you're going down a path of like thinking this is going to be amazing, and then you're gonna like be like, oh God, it wasn't. But it doesn't feel that way to me, at least right now. But also, as in, it doesn't feel like it's going to go bad, but it also feels like it's just kind of a natural byproduct of like getting to know a new person, or not knowing where things are fully going to be going, or like even if you know a person, you can't always read their mind. It feels like kind of just the natural byproduct of like being in relational situations with others, rather than it being like a fear that's coming from your intuition. And, you know, so it kind of feels like when you stand back and you're kind of logical about things, like, yes, you may have some feelings or some hopes or some anxieties involved, but very objectively, it seems like you have something to offer, this person has something to offer, and there's an equality here where this could be something really strong, really safe, something that could go the distance, especially with the world here too. You know, the world is often about successful completion, something happening that you've wanted to happen, things going your way. It can be about a lot of things, but it is also the last major arcana card. So it's like a successful completion of a cycle, something coming full circle, something that you started, you know, going the distance. And so there is this feeling on your end and your perception that this person could be the one that goes the distance with you. So whether that is someone you're already in a relationship with and you're just kind of like wondering where things are going, or someone that has newly entered your life that really feels like they have real potential, or, you know, it's certainly possible that this is someone that is yet to come in. Sometimes we see these energies here, and that these will be your feelings when they enter your life. So I don't know your exact situation, but I would say that you feel very positive. With the 7 of Pentacles here, again, this kind of brings forward the energy of like a little bit of uncertainty about like, where is this going? If I keep putting in effort, are things going to come to fruition? Are they going to work out the way that I want them to work out? And, you know, even too, in this specific 7 of Pentacles, we see someone like pulling cards and doing a spread. And so again, it's kind of this wondering, like wanting the answer, wanting to know if your output is going to be matched. And, you know, sometimes I say this with the 7 of Pentacles, this is a card where sometimes you feel like you're uncertain where things are going, if the work you're putting in is going to matter, you know, should I keep going? And yet it is such an abundant card in my eyes, and that you may not yet see that abundance, but it's here. And so it feels like things are growing and that there is a solid foundation here. And that also this card is the card often of like, keep going. As far as like guidance and advice, when we get the 7 of Pentacles, most often to me, it tells you keep going. There is more to come and more that will come out of this if you put in the effort. And so I think that in your perception too, with this energy, with this person, you want to continue and you want to see what it will become, but you may at times have moments of doubt or moments of anxiety or moments of feeling like worry that you're going to be putting your heart and soul into something that maybe someone else won't. And yet there is energy here of someone matching you, or at least it seeming that way. And of course, we're going to see what they think. So we'll get more information. But as far as your perception is concerned, this feels really positive. And, with the Knight of Cups too, like I said, it doesn't have to be romantic, but the Knight of Cups often is a very romantic card. And so for those of you involved in a romantic situation, this speaks to that. It speaks to it feeling like it might be like true love. This might be someone who can really go the distance in like a beautiful romantic relationship. And it also leads me to believe that even if you are a practical, earthy, or grounded, or very rational person, that you also have a side to you that is quite sweet and quite romantic and wants to experience, I think you really want to experience love with someone that is like true love. You don't just want a partner for practical reasons. That might be part of it, but you want to feel like there's some kind of like completeness between the two of you. Not that someone else needs to make you whole or you make someone else whole, but that you really want to be like a whole person coming together with another whole person and creating something really beautiful. I think there's a very romantic side to you. And you might be very like private about that side of you. You could be the type of person who like outwardly, you don't come across that way, but then in relationship to someone else, you're a lot more kind of like sweet and open. Of course, you might be like that all the time, but for some of you, I do think some of you haven't met this person yet, because there's a strong feeling of like trying to manifest someone or manifesting someone or working on yourself and working on like your relationship patterns in order to be like ready for the type of relationship that you want, or that you really have a mentality going into like dating or relationships with other people that is like, I'm looking for long term, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. Whereas in the past, maybe you dated people because they were attractive or because they were interested in you or because you were lonely. It kind of feels like this group maybe has undergone some of their own introspection and growth in order to find something that does feel right on multiple levels. And so whether this is someone that you're with or has recently come in, or someone you feel is on their way, you do seem to feel very positive about it. And even if you have little worries, and even if someone hasn't come in yet, and you've been worrying about whether they're not, and you keep looking for answers about that, it feels like, especially with the 7 of Pentacles here, you are on your way to it. It is coming in. I mean, with the Knight of Cups too, this is movement, this is action. This, the world is here. There seems to be, again, for those of you who don't have this person yet, but are wanting someone lovely, I'm getting a lot of energy around it is going to happen. But that it may not happen as quickly as your mind wants it to happen. Like sometimes it's like we want to know now. Like you're like, okay, I don't have to have it happen this second, but I need to know when it's going to happen. Like that could be going on for some of you. But the thing is like, we don't get to have those answers a lot of times, which is annoying. But what I will say is something's happening. So I want to get into the now more, because I think this will hopefully round out the picture more, and see what we're going to do is see like their kind of initial thoughts or initial reaction when they see you. And that could be when they see you in person, when they see you online, when they hear something about you, when they hear from you. So we're going to do that first. And then I'm going to shuffle this again. Then we're going to get into more about what else they think about you. And at the end, we will see what they want to happen or what their intentions are. Okay, so for group 3, what is their person's kind of initial thoughts, feelings, reactions when they see group 3? Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Cups. Three of Wands. And the Two of Pentacles. Wow. This is very, also very positive. Okay. Well, this is actually fascinating because I'm pretty sure I actually did group 2 last night. And I'm pretty sure at some point I told group 2, like, I don't see the 10 of Pentacles. I don't see the 10 of Cups, and I don't see the World. And yet in your group, we see all three of those cards. We had the World in the last section, and now we have the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles. So I'm led to believe there's something like incredibly, potentially very positive here. Again, I do think someone here is watching that like already is with their partner. For some of you, this is newer energy or incoming energy. But this person sees a future. Absolutely. They see a potential beautiful future, and they see like emotional fulfillment. They see safety. They see having family, love, community, friends together, a home together. They see so much potential. It's like crazy. Like it's not crazy, but it's the amount of this showing up in these cards is really interesting. So even like I would say initially, this person is already like seeing so much potential. And I think that it's possible they would say it. It's possible they wouldn't say it, but it's going through their mind. Absolutely. And so I think even when this person initially sees you or even experiences you for the first time, they're already seeing something there. So it is very possible this could be a slow moving relationship. But even if it is, right away, there's something that this person sees in you. And so it's really interesting. I wonder if like the first time you encounter this person, you have like a really good conversation, or they've already heard about you through other people if you run in the same circles, or if they, I don't know, there's something like very quickly where they see so much potential for a long-term future. This isn't just attraction or lust or passion or like curiosity. Some of that's here, but I think that this person sees you. It's like, damn, group 3 seems amazing. Like, so there's kind of big energies and big stories running through this person's mind. And so I'm so happy to see this because we saw some of this in your energy and now we're seeing it in their energy. And so again, you know, just like the Justice card in the original pull, now we have this Two of Pentacles. It feels like there's so much balance. Like there are energies on both sides, your side and their side, of like, this is something special, meaningful, something that could grow into a long-term beautiful thing. We could create something wonderful together, that there's a future here, that there's a bond here, that there is something that means something. And so this is really, really nice. I feel really happy for you, whether this is something you're currently experiencing or you will. Lotuses or lilies could be an important sign for you, or someone's favorite flower. I wonder if you'll be seeing rainbows around when this person comes in. One of you, or if this person is already here, sorry, there's a few different scenarios here, but I do wonder if one of you is like a plant person. And yeah, this deck is like the tarot of the witch's garden, but I do feel like one of you could be really into growing vegetables or plants, or you do plant magic or something like that. There's so much equality between you. And I know we didn't pull these cards about these other things, but I mean, oftentimes I pull cards for a question and then I get other information. I I feel so much love here. Like whether that exists now or it's coming. And the thing is, like everything exists now. We just experience time in a different way as people. But I wonder again if one of you's been kind of manifesting the other, if you've been actively doing some kind of like magical or manifestation practices, or you've just been sending out your wishes or your prayers or really hoping for something specific or writing a list of the things that you're looking for. And you've been with this Three of Wands, it really can be, I mean, the Three of Wands can be about like seeing your ships come in, but it can also be that weight of like, again, just like with the Seven of Pentacles, there's kind of an energy of waiting for things to come to fruition or waiting for something. And so whether that's waiting for someone to come in or waiting for it to become something that it hasn't become yet, or maybe if you're with someone and you're wanting to eventually like own a home, it could be something like that you're kind of pulling in the energy. But whatever you're feeling, this person's feeling it too. It may show up in kind of different ways. Like one of you could be more romantic than the other one, but you both are seeing potential in the other. And I think that you both have something to bring to the party here. I think that maybe both of you have gone through periods of growth or, again, introspection or investigation of yourselves or your patterns, or, you know, even if you didn't need to make changes and you've always been kind of wonderful in relationships, it just seems like you're finally kind of like on the same page with someone. Like if you've had relationships in the past that just didn't feel like they matched you or they didn't have long-term potential, even if the person was wonderful, or if you've always been single or something like this is different. Even if you've had a relationship previously that was wonderful, but it ended, it feels like this is a second chance. And it is possible that someone here was like in straight relationships previously and then realized you're not a straight person. Something like that could be going on. Obviously, that's not for everyone, but it could be that something about this just feels more authentically you. Something about this person in this relationship. And it feels like this person wants to share their entire life with you. They want to share their everything, their emotional world, their material world, their relationships, their hopes and dreams and goals for the future. This is someone who wants something really beautiful with you. Wants to build something really beautiful with you. I don't know how many other ways I can possibly say that. So what I'd like to do is go a little bit deeper and get more information about, I'm going to shuffle this again, about their, what else they think about you. What else goes through their mind when they think about you? Empress. Four of Pentacles. Temperance. And the Four of Swords fell on the floor. I wish I didn't have cards fall on the floor all the time, but they just do. Okay, so this is nice. Okay. This person feels really safe with you. So the more that you get to know one another, the more that you settle into something with this person, the safer they feel. It makes me wonder a little bit if this person has been involved with people who did not make them feel safe. Maybe they were always on edge. Maybe they felt like they were always walking on eggshells, or that someone else would control them, or that they couldn't ever kind of settle down. Like maybe someone had like really high expectations of them. It doesn't have to be true, but I do feel like for many of you, this person dealt with other people who maybe were more stressful for them. Or it is possible that this person has been alone for a long time and that being in relationship with you makes them just feel like they can finally calm down. They don't have to do everything on their own. I think that this person looks at you and feels like you are just like a magical person, that you are beautiful or you are handsome, that you have like a beautiful inside and a beautiful outside, and that through and through you are someone so special and magical. And they may see you as very intuitive. I think that it's possible you're a very nurturing person, or you really bring that energy into this relationship. Again, there's something romantic about you that whether or not it's always there, it does seem to be here in relation to this person. Like you might be extra sweet or extra cute with this person or extra affectionate. And, yeah, this person just feels so safe. They can let down their guard. They feel like they don't have to. If they're an anxious person, I think their anxiety decreases quite a bit around you and in relationship with you. I think that this person sometimes feels like they're dreaming, which is really sweet. I think that you feel so special and so important to them that, you know, it brings a smile to their face when they wake up in the morning, or when they are falling asleep at night, thinking about you or next to you or talking to you on the phone. I think that this person's sleep could actually improve because of you. So again, whether they just sleep better with you nearby or they just sleep better knowing they have you in their life, I feel like they feel more complete. And again, this isn't about like, you know, they only feel like half a person and you make them whole. But I think that, you know, this is a whole person who just feels like their life is more complete. Like, you know, a puzzle piece has been put into place that they felt like either, you know, it's almost like I see a puzzle and they like lost some important pieces and now, oh, here they are. I finally found those pieces. I gave up on thinking that they would ever be in this puzzle. And so there's a completion feeling. And it kind of puts them at rest, like in the back of their minds, they were always wondering where those puzzle pieces were. And now they're here. They don't have to think about it anymore. It just exists. And, you know, again, safety comes through, but we see that reflected in the Four of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. Four can be a number of stability and safety. And, you know, you think about a table with 4 legs and how much steadier that is than if it only had 3 legs. So this number 4 speaks to that, but also just the fact that like the Four of Pentacles can feel like that. And so can the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is about being able to like rest and rejuvenate and like let a load, like let a load off. What's the term? But like, I don't know, they just feel so at peace. The Temperance is often a very balanced and peaceful card. And it's also can be a card of like a rest and you know, taking a moment to like not hurry forward. There's no hurrying energy here. So if this person tends to be stressed out, or maybe they have a job that is very stressful, or maybe they have other people in their lives that kind of stress them out. It feels like some other aspect of their life feels stressful, but you like allow them to rest, to unwind, to slow down. And I think they're so incredibly grateful for this. I think that, you know, the Empress, of course, can talk about pregnancy or children. I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. You know, like oftentimes we see pregnancy or children come up to speak about like building something else with someone or a project. But for those of you who do want children or who have children, this is a positive sign that you'll be abundant in this area, that this person will also want that with you, or that they will love your children as well, or love your pets, or love the things that you are growing in this world. It does not have to be kids. yeah, it just feels like they can, even in this Empress card, we have this like little scythe right here. It feels like they can lay down a weapon. They can let something go. They don't need to be defensive in some way. And I kind of wonder with this Four of Pentacles a little bit if they have sort of felt like they've become it's like this person has like turned to stone. And I wonder if in some ways this person has felt like that. Like either they've been single for a long time and they just felt like they kind of gave up on love, or they feel like they've had to guard themselves in so many ways with other people that finally they're sort of slowly coming back to life and slowly able to release an old way of being because you make it easy. I wonder if like, even if, maybe they're very guarded, but you don't even like notice it. And so you treat them as if they're not guarded. And so then they have no choice but to act normal. Like something like that could be going on as well. But I think that you seem like you're very like patient with this person. And even if you could be someone who's always been patient, or maybe you were impatient with other people in the past, but for some reason with this person, it's very easy to just slow down and be patient with them. I do feel like this group, yes, you could be any age, but this does feels a little bit more like 30s and up, or even maybe late 20s. But I would say if like you're 18, this could be something that you're growing into, but it just feels like you and this other person have had experiences in life already that have led you to become the people that you are and have led you together. And so I definitely feel like for many of you, you've already had either a good amount of relationship experience or a good amount of life experience. Like even if you're like 38 and you've always been single, and this is like your first real relationship, you've still gone through experiences in life that have changed who you are in relationship, even if you can't point to a relationship in the past to compare them. It just feels like this person loves you so much and they're so grateful for you and they're so grateful for the effect that you have on them. I think sometimes they can't even put into words all the things that they feel about you. Like another person, if this was another person that had these feelings about you, they would be going on like long monologues about like all the ways in which you are so wonderful. And this person might do that, but I kind of feel like this person doesn't always even know how to like verbally express the things that they're feeling, but you'll still be able to tell that they love you, especially because you're coming across as someone who might be kind of like sensitive or intuitive or empathic. And so you tend to pick up on the things that people are feeling or thinking. And that, I think that this person really, they can rest. They don't need to scramble to constantly do things or fix things. I do wonder if maybe you do kind of like quieter activities together. Like it doesn't feel like you're doing like huge, crazy adventures together. I do feel travel here. So you certainly could be traveling to places, but maybe you travel somewhere and you see some sights and you eat some good foods, but you don't go crazy. Like I feel like you certainly could be doing things like, it just feels like a calmer energy. It feels like enjoyment, slower enjoyment of things. Like if you are more athletic, maybe you're kind of kayaking down a lazy river rather than like whitewater rafting. You know what I mean? So, I kind of want to know, before we ask the last question, I kind of want to know more about like your experience of this, because we got your kind of initial experience, but since this really feels like you're going to be together for a long time, I kind of want to get a little bit more of how it's going to feel for you. Knight of Swords and Knight of Pentacles. And then we have the Page of Wands and the Nine of Swords. Okay. So sometimes I see the Nine of Swords come out in these kinds of energies because, sometimes the Nine of Swords can talk about anxiety or fitful sleep and things. But it's actually giving me kind of the same energy as this person feels. It feels like where you have had anxiety, where you have felt like, this Nine of Swords person is alone, but we're talking about like you being with this person. So it feels like you go from this like energy of feeling kind of on edge or anxious or uncomfortable into a feeling of like more safety. We have swords and wands and pentacles here. And so it feels like there's safety, there's passion, there's creativity, there's mental energy here, and there's clarity with this Knight of Swords as well. So, I wonder if you're a little bit more like kind of energetic or spunky in relation to this person. Like you kind of have an energy that feels a little bit more kind of like creative or energetic, or like maybe you're the more talkative one in this relationship. That's not necessarily the case, but it kind of feels like that to me. But I feel like one thing is I think you are really grateful for your effect on this person. Like you like to see how you affect them in positive ways. It makes you feel good, especially for those of you who have been in relation to people before that like blamed you for things, or no matter what you did, it seemed like they were worse off being with you, like whether that was a problem with them or you felt like it was a problem with you. But like if you were involved with someone in the past where it felt like nothing you did really helped the situation, you might be really grateful for the fact that you can see actively that this person feels like a happier, healthier, and more balanced person because of your influence in their life. So I think this is really nice for you because you get to see how you positively affect another person. But I think that you also feel very positively affected by this relationship. I think that there's a lot of energy here of you feeling like you're able to move forward. So I feel like that's in life or in certain areas of life. We could talk about like career or work or your ideas with the Knight of Swords. So I do feel like for some of you, you have goals related to money or career or projects you want to undertake in the material world, and that you might have ideas, but you have felt maybe unable to move toward those, or you have felt like it's really slow. I feel like something with this person helps you to feel more motivated or capable of moving forward, or like you finally are hearing the things that you need to hear. Like, that's an incredible idea. You're not crazy for having that. Like, how can I help you accomplish this? I think that this person is really going to support you in your dreams, your hopes, your desires, and your ideas, no matter what they are, whether that's like a whole career thing that you want to do, or whether it's your idea for like decorating a room in your home. Like it can be anything, but I think that you feel very supported by this person and that they see your ideas as very valid and very interesting. And I think that they really listen to you and encourage you, and that they may also help you to expand on and make your ideas real. And I think that where you have been overthinking with the Nine of Swords, I would say that you definitely have been overwhelmed or overthinking or overanalyzing maybe everything or certain things in life. And this person finally helps you kind of calm that down and get out of your head. This feels like being trapped in your head. And at times that's not like a fun or easy place to be. Like you're kind of like locked in with looping thoughts or feeling like you're not making any progress or things are just getting worse. And somehow it feels like this person helps you to simplify and calm things down and kind of move toward things that actually make sense to you. Like, I feel like sometimes our minds are overthinking because we can't just kind of like simplify and get to the root of something, because maybe we have an idea for something, but it feels impossible, or we think other people are going to judge us, or like, it's going to be so hard to accomplish it. And all these thoughts make something really hard to actually do. And I think that like kind of like either this person's energy or the way that they are, or the way that you talk things out with them kind of calms things down and simplifies you so that you're able to move forward in a more clear kind of way. So I think that you both have like an incredibly positive effect on each other. And I think that you're very well balanced. I do think that you are quite different in certain ways, which makes sense. You're two different people. I think your perspectives can differ quite a lot. The ways that you express yourselves can be very different. And with that said, I think that you're able to often get on the same page, that your values might be very similar. Maybe your sense of humor is very similar. I think that you can talk about a lot of interesting things. And it's extra interesting because you're getting one another's very different perspectives or opinions on things. And I think that maybe you'll find that, like, if you're open-minded, you might change one another's opinions, or I definitely think you'll help each other grow even more as people. I think it feels like there's a lot of smiling and a lot of laughing and a lot of, happy, healthy, fun conversations. And I think that you both kind of allow the other person to be who they are without needing to change everything about them. And I do wonder if someone here has like been in situations before where either you really felt like you wanted to change other people, or you felt like other people wanted to change you. And so either you're in a situation now where that just isn't the case, you're happy with the way that this person is and vice versa, or you've kind of given up on that need to make someone fit a certain mold. You can love them as they are. So that's really nice. And so I want to wrap this up by looking at what this person wants to happen or what their intentions are. Okay. King of Cups. The Chariot. The Fool. Okay, we had two cards come up, but this one came out face up. So we're going to take the Lovers because it also very much suits this energy. So again, we have so much abundant positive energy. This is such a lovely group to end things on today. And even if you did have a situation in another group, like you watched group one, but then you ended up coming over here, like you could find yourself in another group and then also have this energy with someone else. This is really wonderful, So this person's intentions are very pure, it feels like, and they want a long-term relationship. They are choosing you. This person feels like, so if you are in a situation where it feels like you might be a little confused at first, but if it feels like this person isn't actively choosing you, like choosing to spend time with you, choosing to communicate with you, this might not be the right person, because I think that you're going to know relatively quickly that this person is very interested in spending more time with you and getting to know you more. I think that even if you have some anxieties or some worries or some doubts, ultimately this person is going to keep showing up and making it clear in some way that they want to move towards this. But even if they don't say it right off the bat, because I do feel like for some of you, this person isn't super wordy with their feelings, but I think that they really want to show up for you in a real way. They want something really beautiful. They want to begin and move toward something that is long lasting, that is mature, that is emotionally fulfilling, where you are on the same path moving toward the same thing together. They may want to get married or move in together or move to a new location together. This feels like a new cycle, a new phase, a new chapter in their life that they are so excited for. It feels to them like a possibility of having happily ever after with you. And I think that you may surprise them quite a lot, because either they felt like that was a fantasy or that was a dream, being with someone like you and having a relationship like they have with you felt like out of reach in some way, or it felt like, they thought they had it before and it didn't turn out to be that. So I think that once they realize like whoa, like I can have this, then that's what they want. This feels like someone who is absolutely willing to commit to a long-term future, that they're not going to like mess around with that because they don't want to mess up their chance. So this again leads me to believe that this is someone who has prior relationship experience or life experience that has taught them to be very grateful for the good things that come their way and to not let something go that feels like magic, because I wonder if they have made a mistake in the past where they felt like they didn't jump on something that was meaningful. With this King of Cups, it really feels like this person has grown from something, that they've grown wiser, that they've emotionally matured, and that they're in a place where they actually can commit to something long term, where even if they have little worries, they're not going to let that, give them cold feet. There's an energy of like, I want this, I want you, I want this, and I want to move toward it. And so that is truly their intention here. We have 3 major arcana at the end here and then a court card. This person's not messing around. So again, if you're dealing with someone who is messing around, like if you see a lot of potential in them and you're like, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that, but they keep messing around, then it's probably not this person yet. And because I think that pretty quickly you're going to know, like, even if things move slowly, which I think is often a good thing, it's still going to become quite clear. This person, it will be consistent in their communication. They'll be consistent in their interest in you. Even if they have an anxiety or a worry, they're not going to just totally ghost you or disappear or be really weird. I think if someone's giving you inconsistency, it's not this person. So I want to tell that to a few people here who might be like excited about someone new, but that someone new continues to be inconsistent. In that case, like you may want to move on because there's going to be someone who actually can show up for you. This person has a consistent, dependable energy. They may not have when they were younger. You might end up hearing stories about the ways that like they regret their actions in other relationships or something like that. But this person wants, like, literally this entire reading ends in the Lovers. Okay. Like they want, and the Lovers isn't always a romantic card, but this one looks pretty damn romantic to me. And we're in a love reading and we're talking about romantic things. And it feels like this person is choosing you. You are the one that they want. This is the relationship that they want. This is what they want to move toward. And they want to grow something with you. They're willing to take a risk, even if it feels a little bit scary to them, even if they're not sure what's going to happen. It feels worth it to them. You feel worth it to them. You feel worth, trying again. I think that this person has been in maybe major relationships before. Maybe they were married previously, or maybe they really held out hope for people that, something ended up hurting them or it was difficult. And yet they're ready to begin again. And that shows up in both of these cards, but also, if they have had difficult relationships previously, this is someone who has learned from them, who has taken some time out to assess their actions, the other person's actions, their relationship patterns, and these kinds of things. This is someone who feels very ready to move into something. This isn't someone who is still processing a breakup. Like, sometimes there are things that could come up for the rest of your life. If you were married for 20 years and, you've processed it and you're ready to move on, you still are probably going to have memories about someone that was important to you for that long. Like it's not like this person is never going to think about someone from the past. I mean, that, but it does feel like they've really processed some heartbreak or some things that they even felt they did wrong. And this person is now very much ready to move forward, specifically with you. This person, it feels like they see you, they get to know you, and it's like group 3. I don't think that they're going to be messing around like, oh, I'm dating so-and-so and I'm dating group 3. No, this is going to be someone who is moving directly. Even if they have been like dating, it's like once you enter the scene, that's all they can see. That's all that they're interested in. So this looks really, really lovely. So if you're already in this relationship, I'm so happy for you. If you're moving toward this is wonderful. And if this is energy that's still coming in for you, and maybe you've felt it coming in, or if you've been wishing for it to come in, and you've been doubting whether or not that's going to happen, this seems to give me a very strong indication that something really beautiful is coming your way, and that it's going to be long-term and long-lasting, and that it's going to feel so beautiful and so special. So that's all I have for you today, group 3. Thank you so much for spending time with me and allowing me to read this beautiful energy. If you enjoyed this reading, or if you found it helpful, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment if you want to. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.